I'm backing up my truck, I'm gonna hook it up, loading up my boat with all my gear. I've been working hard all week, trying to make ends meet, spending time wishing I was fishing. Whoa, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing. Gather up your gear and come along. Whoa, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Join Karen Cullum, Greg Clajo, and me as we take you to some of our favorite fishing spots from Colorado to Minnesota, the Arctic Circle to Central America and beyond, as we revisit episodes of Mountain States Fishing and Angling Adventures Television on the best of fishing with Terry Wickstrom.
Hey, if we look like we're having fun, we are, and we're going to. Probably, if you've watched our television shows over the years, this guy might look familiar. This is Dan Swanson. Dan is an accomplished walleye tournament fisherman. In fact, he's a PWT championship qualifier, Western Rookie of the Year in the PWT. You've fished the Wyoming circuit, you've fished the FLW circuit, yes, the RCL, the PWT. So, very accomplished walleye fisherman, and he's been a good friend, and we've done seminars and fished together for, it's over a decade now.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time. And we're out, he guides on Horsetooth Reservoir. Right here, we're on Horsetooth Reservoir, not very far from my house. I live about, well, as the crow flies, I live about 3 miles that way. And you live about the same, I guess.
About the same, not much past you.
Yeah, we're right there, so we're real close to home. We're so confident in what we're doing today, we're not starting till 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a television show. It's and it really is, Dan, it's that time of the year when the spooning comes into its own, and it may be one of the most predictable bites here in these western reservoirs.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. If any reservoir that's got shad in it is going to have this kind of bite happening in the fall as the water starts to cool.
And it's just an awesome, and we're going to fish with pieces of metal. Now, mine's got a little bit of a pattern on it, but yours is just a piece of metal.
Yeah, it's just hammered metal is all it is.
And the toughest thing people have is they look at this and they say, well, they see all the fancy crankbaits and they see all the jigs and the plastics that are colored. And look at this, hard to get people to fish like this. But I'll tell you what, when the bait fish get stressed and the walleyes, even the bass, wipers, now we're going to be fishing for walleyes today, but depending on the body of water, catfish, when they start chasing the shad, this piece of metal fluttering down becomes just like a fly fisherman throwing just the right fly when the trout are focused on it.
Yep, there's no doubt, because this is imitating those dying bait fish, and we're trying to get something that's about the same size as those dying bait fish as well. If you look at that, it's about the size of the shad that are in here.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to teach you a little bit about spooning today, but we're also going to let you get to know Dan a little better, because you're going to want to book a trip and come out, both learn. Dan does trips both for educational purposes and catching fish. We'll tell you about those during the course of the day, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yep, you bet we will. It's a very small fish.
All right, well, break the ice, get us going.
There we go. That one felt like my spoon.
Well, it's Horsetooth Walleye. You know,
Yeah,
the nice thing about
nice.
this lake is there's such an abundance of fish like that. There's just
There really are.
an incredible number of fish in this lake.
And the other thing that I'm seeing this fall is that the fish seem to be a lot fatter than they were before.
Well, that's been an issue in previous years because there's been
Right.
too many mouths for the forage. And this year, the water was high, so we had a pretty good probably hatch of bait.
Right.
So they're probably going to have some healthy fish coming into the spring next year.
I think we will. And you know, assuming they make it through the winter, but there is a lot of bait fish in here right now, and I do believe that's why, you know, that fish just looks so much healthier than they did even 2 months ago.
I mean, it was a short fish, but it had nice shoulders. It was
did.
healthy. It looked good. So,
Yeah.
well, we
So
got
see if can find
started.
some more. We finally got on them. Oh, it's spinning around like a spoon is. Yep. Doggone it.
I was just about to say you're putting on a clinic, but
I'm not putting on a clinic on how to get fooled by a tangled up spoon. But you know what they say, hook sets are free.
that's right. All right.
All right.
You're going to force me to come up there.
It's a little better fish.
I was just going to change spoons because you were getting bit and I wasn't.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Swing them in.
Oh yeah, nice healthy walleye.
Yeah, they really are getting healthy.
Well, you know, and the fact that, I'll hold this out of the way.
That other way so it doesn't hit you in the face too.
Yeah, the fact that they're getting healthy, they're looking good, and the limits are going to, we're almost sure now. At the filming of this, we're the fall, there's still an 18-inch limit on this lake, but we're, I'd say 80% sure that that they're going to open up the limits. So you'll be able to come up here, go out on a trip with Dan, and take home a nice 5-bag of walleyes and some nice fillets.
Yeah.
And learn a little bit about fishing this lake too at the same time.
And again, these are nice and fat. They've really gotten healthy this fall.
Oh, exactly. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be excellent fishing in the next couple of years.
And away he goes.
All right.
So you're going to change over to something that rattles.
Yeah, well, he kept getting bit. I was actually back there, and I wasn't. He said any spoon would work. Well, the one I had on wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try a buckshot rattle spoon, a little different color. You've been using silver. I've got a variety of jigging spoons, and sometimes just a little change, a little noise. So I'm going to try this for a while, see how it works. And I found a ball bearing swivel too.
Okay, that's a good idea. That keeps the line from getting so twisted.
All right, so very good. So we're good.
Right.
So we're going to re-rig here and see if I can't get a couple.
All right.
Oh, it's got a little head shake. I don't think it's a monster, but it's a nice fish. Right now, I'll take anything I can get.
Well, see, you changed to that other spoon.
Yeah, I did
You wanna
change
net
to a
him,
little
or is
different
he,
spoon.
a swinger?
I think he's a swinger.
That's not a bad fish. Huh?
No, we'll get him up here. I think we'll be fine.
All right.
We're gonna let him go, so if he falls off, it's not
It's not the end of
terrible.
the world, is it?
No, we're just having fun with them. But
Pliers?
yeah, he's got it in there pretty good. It's one thing when you are jigging these spoons, you can get a pretty good hook set in them. Not a monster fish, typical to what we're catching. We're gonna get him back in the water right away.
It's time now for Terry's tackle tip of the week.
The basic setup is pretty easy. We're using bait casting rods.
Right.
You can use a spinning rod, but you want something a little stiff because you want to be able to pop that spoon. We have Fireline here. We like either the standard Fireline or the crystal. Either one is good. You like the crystal
I
better,
do
actually.
like the crystal, and I have the flame colored on this other rod. I just happen to have this black stuff at the house when I re-spooled.
And so I get the black
yeah,
stuff.
you got
too.
the stuff that's harder to see.
I brought my own rod with Fireline crystal. I've been too lazy to take it out. But it does give you a little, watching the line can be critical as
Yeah.
it goes down and watching it. So if you can't see the line, change to something brighter. But then in the end, we put a fluorocarbon leader. You can use mono, but fluorocarbon is better. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, we get away from having anything visible right by the lure. So when it's coming down, you don't have the visible line right there. Another reason too, that fluorocarbon is much stiffer than this Fireline is. So you'll see that we get a lot of times where the spoon will hook up on you.
And it fools you too, by the way.
Oh yeah, you'll set the hook when it's like that, and because you're pulling that spoon, you'll keep reeling thinking you've got a small fish. But the stiffer fluorocarbon line helps keep that from happening a little bit too. So those are just some tips. Easy rigging. The key to this is using electronics, finding some fish, because you'll wear your arm out if you do it when you're not. Find either bait or fish. And then this simple setup, and then just pop it off the bottom. You want to get it aggressive enough where that spoon comes up flat and flutters down. If you just go up and down like this, you might catch some fish, but what really triggers is it gets up in the air and flutters. And it's incredible. Everything that swims will eat that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've caught. The other day I was on another lake. I caught carp. I caught a 10-pound catfish. I caught a bunch of walleyes, a bunch of perch, just pretty much everything that was in the lake.
When those shatter down there, that's what they're eating, and that's
Yep.
exactly what that spoon imitates. Well, now that I'm on a roll, let's get back
Okay,
down
you
there.
gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
That was Terry's tackle tip for this week, and now back to more angling adventures.
Well, this is reeling hard. Am I
Wow.
tangled on the end of my rod?
I don't know.
Or is that just a spoon?
It's an awful heavy spoon.
No, it feels like a fish. Feels like...
Is he fighting?
No, he's not. It's a spoon.
It's a spoon.
There, I did it. So now you feel better?
Yeah, I do.
But
I was really hoping it was a fish, though.
I'm looking to see if I got a tangle here or something, because it just didn't reel right. No, it's just a spoon. First one. My first spoon of the day.
And yeah, I probably got at least a dozen.
Now Dan feels better, though.
I do. All right.
What you got?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen it.
I still
Feels a little better.
Still amazes me that these fish, we catch them on a piece of metal like that.
It makes no sense.
I know.
Ah, nice walleye.
Oh
A
yeah.
little better. He's kind of hooked funny, but that's
Yeah.
probably why he fought funny.
Got him if you can
Got
grab
it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, decent fish.
Not bad.
No. We're gonna get him back in the water, but I'll tell you what, you start getting a bunch of these when they relax the limit a little bit.
That's supper.
Oh, that's a good dinner. That's a good dinner. So if people want to book a trip with you, Dan, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
You know, the best way is just contact me on my email, which is just dan@fishexplorer.com.
Right, and if they forget that, they can go to fishexplorer.com. You've got articles, and you're
Right.
one of the editors on
Yep,
there.
I'm one of the editors. There's a field editor section. You can just click on that, and it'll get right to my page, which
All
will
right.
send me a direct email.
Now, do you guide? What months do you guide out here in
We
Horsetooth?
guide here from April until ice up.
Okay, so and any particular times you recommend? I mean, obviously this is good right now, but spring is really good too.
The spring is really good. I think from mid-May up until the middle of July, you know, if you like to cast jigs with gulp minnows or you like to cast crankbaits, that's probably our most active time. It's when the lake is full and the fish are pretty hungry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and right now it's a jig and spoon thing. It's a little different kind of bite. We have a pretty decent topwater bite going for smallmouth bass as well right now.
And that's another thing too. It is a lot of small ones, but there's some really nice ones. A very prolific smallmouth bass lake. So great time fishing right here in the Front Range of Colorado, very close to a lot of metropolitan areas. Get a hold of them on Fish Explorer, Dan Swanson, and have a good time with it.
Oh yeah, we'll have a great time.
Another one. You're putting
Yeah.
on a clinic today.
Well, you know, it's all about that motion.
Still amazing that a fish will come up and eat that piece of metal.
It
I'll tell
really
you.
is.
They've all been about the same size, but I tell you what, we've said it before and we're going to say it again, that there are some big walleyes in here.
There are,
some
and
very, very big walleyes, and better get that one back in
This
the
one's
water.
a little smaller than
what
the
we've
others
been
we got,
catching.
but
But there's going to be a relaxation and a limit here, we're almost sure. And a
Yeah.
person comes up and books a trip, they're going to be able to take a few home.
yeah, I think the numbers are going to be 5 fish, and you know we've caught quite a few fish, and we've only been here just a really short time. So
Oh, exactly. You know, another thing too, if people do come up and have a trip with you, if they're in the area, of course they can schedule a day trip or half a day trip. But if you're coming and you don't live real close to Horsetooth, there's some accommodations right here. Now, obviously, we're right near Fort Collins. There's lots
Right.
of accommodations there. But right here at Horsetooth Reservoir, they have a great campgrounds if you've got a camper. But if you don't, they've got some beautiful cabins.
They do. Those little camping cabins are really, really nice.
Yeah, and they're very inexpensive. In fact, we got some footage where we were with Mark Coughlin, one of the rangers out here. Let's show you some of those cabins.
That'd be great.
Hey, we're going to get you back out in the water in just a minute. I know you want to see more walleye fishing, but I'm with Mark Coughlin. Mark, pleasure to spend time with you again. You're the manager here at Horsetooth Reservoir.
Yeah, for the north area of Larimer County.
Larimer County Parks is the
Parks and
entity that
you
really
bet.
runs Horsetooth Reservoir. And how many campsites do you have here?
Total, we have about 129 sites.
So, and do they fill up pretty much in the summer? Do you have to get reservations ahead of
we
time?
do. We do have a reservation system now that you could call in ahead of time up to 3 months in advance, and all of our sites are on the reservation system.
Is that both by phone or web? Or how?
There's a phone number and a website.
And we'll put those up here on the screen for you, so we have the phone number and the website in case you want to make a reservation here. So you've improved and added campsites, you've improved and added boat ramps, you've got fish structure down there. I mean, this is like a reborn lake, like a new reservoir. And people don't come out here just to fish. I mean, water Water skiing is popular out here in the summertime. Jet skis are popular out here at times. There's just recreational boating, camping, hiking. But one of the gems you really did is you added these cabins.
Yeah, the cabins we added have been really popular. They're really cozy, one-room cabins that sleep up to 5 people. They have a nice place for a tent pad out front, a picnic table, and a fire grate as well, so people could enjoy it with the family and have the tent outside with the kids maybe and the family inside. So it's really worked out pretty well.
Yeah, if you don't have an RV or a tent, or you'd rather have a little more solid structure, these are great. And we're going to show you the inside of these cabins. They've got sleeping accommodations. They're both air conditioned and heated. You've got bathroom facilities right here. Mark, it's really great. I'm so glad to see this. It's a tremendous resource to have up here in northern Colorado.
Yeah, thank you. I think so as well. We've had a lot of good opportunities lately to improve it even more, so we hope that people come out and enjoy it.
Horsetooth Reservoir. In fact, the people who don't know how to get it, we should tell them. You take I-25 to the Harmony exit on Fort Collins and just drive west and you'll run into the lake.
Road comes right up to it.
Drives right into it. You can't miss it. And I got to get back out and catch some more fish with Dan.
Right.
So hey, thank you.
A decent one too. You know, I actually laid that spoon on the bottom, picked it up and popped it, and he hit it. Huh. I let it rest on the bottom for a minute and then just picked it up and popped it once.
Well, that looks like a walleye.
Yeah.
Looks like a little better one too.
Yeah, it's a decent one. Let's grab that one.
I'm gonna try.
Oh yeah, wow, that's
keeper size.
yeah, that's a decent
here.
fish. Here, I'll get my hands under the gills here.
You can have them.
And let's get that spoon out of them right away. I don't know if we can get
You hooked him well.
Yeah. Boy, that hook is in there weird.
Yes, it is.
That's gonna be a tough one to get out. That's a good hook set.
Yes, it was. Just have to kind of untangle him.
Yeah.
Unwind him.
That's a little nicer fish. That one's not quite as fat as the others.
No, it's not.
It's longer, but it's a little. It's not been eaten as well. But that's a nice.
It's a nice fish.
Nice horsetooth walleye, and I mean the lake is full of these.
Yeah.
The fishing is steady. The action is steady. If you just want to have fun catching fish, this is a great place to come do it. In fact, you and I were on this same spot.
We were 6 years ago.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm going to take you back. We were on this same spot almost the same time of year, and we decided to use a different technique, though, how we were fishing.
We were fishing with a jig, like a 1/4 ounce jig and a half a night crawler, and just dragging it on the bottom.
Yeah.
They didn't want it moved, we learned. They wanted it dragged.
Our camera person actually had to show it.
She helped us with
how
that,
to catch those fish that time, but let's take back and we'll show you a couple of those fish and come back and join us spooning here again.
All right.
Let me get this fish here. You don't like that hook set, do you? He always teases me. He says, you can tell he started out as a bass fisherman. Because of the way I set the hook. It's just another cookie cutter fish. Another one about the same as what we've been catching. They're all about the same. But you know what?
Beautiful fish.
Oh, they're just
healthy.
They're good, solid, healthy. They're firm, a lot of meat on them. Night crawler and a jig is all we're using. In fact, let's get this back in the water. Once you reel yours up with someone using it. This is just kind of a pinkish jig, but the chartreuse has actually been a little better.
Chartreuse and orange, and I just thread the crawler on all the way up to the collar and just let it dangle.
And no plastic or anything else, just a jig and a night crawler. You know, sometimes you can make this way too a lot fancier than you need to be.
Yeah, this basic hook, line, and sinker.
That's
here.
exactly what it is. And so you don't need a lot of fancy equipment to come out here. You should be able to catch walleyes in the months and years to come on Horsetooth with jigs all year long.
Yeah, that's really what's been changed in this lake. This used to be pretty much a night bite lake because of the smelt. And now that we've got some different forage in here, it's actually turning into a better day bite lake.
It really is. And you should be able to come out here with a jig and a night crawler. And not only you catch walleyes, but you're going to catch a lot of smallmouth bass and some perch. And it's a great place to come out and just have a lot of action. And these fish are going to grow rapidly. And I'd say by the time you watch the show, there's going to be a lot of good eating size fish in this lake.
Yes, there will.
Let's go back and see if we can
Let's go catch some more. Yeah, once you get on them, you got to stay on them, and that's where your electronics really make a difference.
Oh, and well, that's one of, another thing we didn't talk about during the course of the show today so far, Dan, is the fact that, get that fish out.
I'm trying to get him out without getting stabbed.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Nice healthy fish.
They got some nice shoulders on them,
Oh, they really do. Good, healthy fish.
In the water.
Another thing, Dan, is one of your fortes is electronics.
Yeah.
Which really comes into play in the spooning bite so much. And in fact, you're on the staff for an electronics company, and
Yes,
you
I
do
am.
seminars for them. And he teaches classes on how to use your fish finders, is what we're getting, GPS and fish finders. During this spoon bite, it's so critical to use your electronics because you wear yourself out. You'll never catch fish. You've got to be over the fish. Another reason to hire a guide like you, somebody who's knowledgeable on their equipment, is they're going to pick up so much on electronics. How do you set it up? How do you read them? All those things that people ask us all the time at the sport shows.
That's right. And you know, one of the other things that I do is I do offer on the water classes.
Just on
Electronics. So that's another thing we do through our guide service.
That's great. Well, let's get back and get some more fish.
Yeah, they're all down there. Okay.
There's one.
All right.
Another one. I'll tell you what, it's prolific. There's sure plenty of these fish in here, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. Well, that one's.
We'll get this one back in the water
Get him
quickly.
back in the water quick.
Yep, get him down there. Little piece of metal. I had a flea fly spoon. You had a, I can't remember what spoon you were
I had a
using.
strata spoon.
And I'll tell you what, folks, it's a great way to fish. You can pick it up by just studying it, but I'd recommend come out and spend a day in the water with Dan. I mean, you really learn. Once you learn this technique, you can take it to lakes all over the country.
Yeah, you can. It works everywhere.
It's
All
just
times around, too.
It really does. It's a great way to fish. You almost got to do it with somebody, because you won't fish it right till you get confidence that piece of metal will catch fish.
Yeah, that's true, because they sure don't look like anything.
If you live around the area, if you're visiting the area, you'll have a great day in the water. Coming up here to camp or stay. Spend a day with Dan, then spend the rest of the time fishing. You can learn the lake. A day with a guide, you learn the lake, makes the
You
whole...
do, and this lake is, you know, if you look around, there's a lot of structure on this lake. It takes a while.
This lake's a little tough to learn.
It is.
It's a different kind of lake. Come up here, spend a day with Dan, and don't forget to join us next week on Angling Adventures.